Hey beloveds, hope you are doing very well today. Glad to see you all. I want to talk about cover letters and resumes. They are two of the most powerful tools in your arsenal when it comes to getting that job that you want, transitioning to a new career. Resume, cover letter, huge. Now there are a lot of other documents that that I work with people on when it comes to transitioning to a different job and career. There's reference letters. There's job applications that sometimes ask questions that are different from the resume and cover letter. So there's other documents that go into, finding a job and getting an interview. But I want to talk about the two most powerful ones, the cover letter and resume. If you can get those two right, you are like 100 times, or whatever number on the right path. It's so much easier for you. The whole job process is easier, less obstacles when you have a really strong, really powerful cover letter and resume. Let me tell you a personal story. One of the last jobs that I applied to, you gotta have a resume, cover letter, and so on in order to get the interview, and then the process goes on from there. I had a great cover letter that very clearly said why I'm the best fit for this position. My resume matched with that. I had looked at their job description, what they wanted, and of course this is what I do, right? So of course I'm going to make a really great cover letter, a really awesome resume. So by the time the hiring manager got my resume and application, they were pretty blown away. And how do I know that? Because of how they called me. When they called me, the tone of their voice, the things that they said, it was very clear that they were excited to interview me. And what's very important is I think they had emailed me first, and then we talked on the phone briefly. They had sent me a couple emails, and it's very important to keep in mind, the process that leads up to getting an interview. It can show your professionalism, it can show your personality, your work ethic, and so those correspondence that happen before the interview and even after the interview, throughout the whole job process until you have a job offer and so on, are very important. So I communicated very well. I was very prompt and all of that. And so all of that contributed to, finally when they asked me for the interview, they sent me an email and they were so excited to have me. They literally, I kid you not, they literally gave me the interview questions. They told me what they were going to ask me at the interview. And they said, okay, here's some times for the interviews, whatever works best for you. We're going to ask you this, that, and the other. And you know what? I practiced and readied myself for those, this, that, and the other. And when I got ready, and when the interview came, they asked me this, that, and the other. So they literally told me. That is how excited they were. That's how my cover letter and resume, was so strong. They wanted me to have this job. They wanted me to do well in the interview. They wanted, everything to work out. You know how when you really like something, there's that saying, just take my money, just take it. It was like, just take my job, take it. Like that is how you want it to be when you are in the job process. You want them to just be like, please, come on, take my job. Make it easy for them. Hiring managers, they're working so hard. They want to find the best fit for their position, so help them do that. Make it so clear and easy for them to see that you are the best fit, that no one else is going to be a better fit for this position that they have than you. Make it easy for them to say yes. And on top of that, you know what? They didn't check my references. They didn't need it. It was like maybe over 30 days afterwards, they were like, oh, our HR department says that for our, special circumstances, they needed in the records to show that there were some references. So like after the fact, they wanted reference letters for their for their records because of their parent company checks these kind of things. But it was not a part of the hiring process because everything else I had was so good. Okay, now some lessons for you all, right? Okay, so number one, make sure that your cover letter and resume are strong, because again, that will help you with the whole rest of the process. And for folks that don't agree that a cover letter matters, I'm not in that camp. I'm not in the camp of cover letters don't matter. They matter. I've seen them matter. I've seen them make a difference. Every client that I work with has a cover letter because I want them to stand out, and I leverage the cover letter as an opportunity to showcase that alignment between this position or career they're applying for and who they are and so on. So any opportunity I get to showcase that for those I'm working with, I do it, and a cover letter helps you do it. Now, if you just have a cover letter with a couple sentences and it doesn't really say anything, then yeah, it doesn't matter. But having a meaningful cover letter is what matters, okay? Also, again, the more powerful your cover letter and resume is, the easier the whole rest of the job process will be. For example, if you have like some gaps on your resume, maybe you had some space in between jobs, if you don't address that in your resume or cover letter, that you had these gaps and why, you know what? I bet you when it's time for you to get interviewed, they're going to ask you about that. Well, what about this gap? What about this here? So if you don't address it appropriately in the cover letter or resume, they're going to probably ask you during the interview. And let me tell you, it's better to just address it in your cover letter or in your resume than waiting until the interview. They may say, oh yeah, in your cover letter you said there was this gap because blah, blah, blah. So then it's the easier question to ask when it's the first time they're hearing why there was that gap or why there was, whatever it was, okay? So, keep that in mind. I would say that is it for today, okay? In short, the cover letter and resume are powerful. They are powerful. They can set up the stage to have a really smooth job application process, okay? If those are strong, the employer is already like dying to meet you by the time the interview comes along. The interview is just a formality. The references will be just a formality because they want you so bad. You want them to already want and like you just from the cover letter and the resume. The resume and cover letter, it's like your first interview, okay? That's their first impression of you. And then as soon as they touch bases with you, every correspondence you have with the employer, be polite, be courteous, make sure that your voicemail is, respectable. Make sure that you don't have your phone blocked from numbers you don't know, because how do you even know if they're calling you, right? That has happened so many times, and we'll talk about this and some other things, in future videos, but make sure that you're responding back to the employer. Be professional, be prompt, be pleasant. They're gonna just, be like, take my job, take it, okay? So the resume and cover letter have power. Ooh, they have a lot of power. You get those right, if those are on point for you, I'm telling you, the rest of the job process is so much smoother, so much smoother. So I wanted to be smooth for you all, okay? All right, good luck you guys and take care. Let me know if you like this video in the comments. If you have any questions, would love to chat with you about it. Bye-bye.